much for joining us. And my name is Annie Bond, and I'm the author of a book called Awakening Prana 9 Steps to Regenerative Self Healing. And I've also got a few bestseller books under my belt along the way. But tonight, we're on this particular show, we're going to talk about 3 ways to connect to the elements and to be here now. And the uh, the number one way of really learning how to be here now is to realize that we are actually very connected to the earth and to the sun, and that we're in a very powerful sense of polarity here, and that we live in this polarity, and that there are 2 magnetic poles, the earth and the sun, and that we are here, and that we actually, most of us don't go around thinking that, well, we're connected to the sun and the earth and we're in a magnetic pole. um, but we actually have 2 little known chakras that are called the Earth Star chakra, which is 8 inches below us in the ground, and the Soul Star chakra, which is about 8 inches above us. And these actually very profoundly connect us to these magnetic poles, the Earth and the Sun. And the Earth Star chakra is where we actually really anchor into the planet, like just get really deeply rooted. And the Soul Star chakra is where we actually anchor into our consciousness on the planet as human beings. And so it's a very important like piece in our learning how to embody, and one that took me years really to understand how important it was to be anchored on the earth and connecting to the sun and connecting to my consciousness of my soul star chakra over my head. And we'll be doing a meditation that includes connecting to the earth star and the soul star chakra. The second way that we connect to elements and being here now that I wanted to talk about is learning how to get grounded and to really be here now. It's not always easy to be here on the planet because a lot of us have been physical ailments or we've had emotional trauma. And when that happens, most of us just want to shoot out of our bodies, and because it's not that fun to be here, it doesn't feel good to be here. And there are a lot of symptoms that can give you a clue that you might be ungrounded, such as always being really spacey. Another one is you can be in your head. Like when I teach healing, it's always a good indicator if someone's getting ungrounded is they start getting in their head, they're thinking about their laundry or their shopping list. Another thing that is an indicator usually of this is you sort of hamster wheel around with thinking thoughts that you can't get a little obsessive and like, oh my god, that person, and get really triggered. That those are great signs of being ungrounded. And my experience is that everybody has a different way of needing to work with their own selves to figure out how to get themselves grounded, that one size literally doesn't fit all. Even though, like, I was taught to ground in a certain way, and I literally was like a helium balloon for 2 years until I realized, oh my gosh, this doesn't work. So I had to find my own way, a helium balloon in the sense of like taking off. I had to find my own way that works. And so I'd like to welcome everybody to spend time themselves whenever they can to think about how to ground. But another one sort of lovely way of learning of grounding is to connect to the Schumann resonance, which is the sound of the hum of the earth. And I like to ask my higher self to help me hear the hum of the earth. And let's just do that for a second. If you just close your eyes and you're asking, sort of opening to ask to hear inside. It almost sounds like a singing bowl a little bit. I ask to hear the hum of the earth Just stick with this for a minute. I ask to hear this hum of the earth. I ask to hear the hum of the earth. It's something when you try this, I for one get feeling really back in my body, very, very embodied. It feels really good. And another way to get grounded, which is very straightforward and which I'll lead us through shortly, is where we imagine ourselves a tree and with really, really deep roots. But there's more to it than just imagining yourself a tree with deep roots. And so I will look forward to walking us through that in a guided sound meditation, actually. But as I said, the most important thing is for you to really find out what works for you. And we're all different when it comes to needing to be grounded. And it really depends on so much on what triggers you into fear, what kind of traumas you've had, what physical pain you might be in, that kind of thing. So a third way to connect to the elements and to being here now is to become one with the elements: earth, fire, water, air, and ether. And the belief that the elements are these huge beings of huge beings carrying an incredibly benevolent consciousness is a lot. What with this consciousness, they've allowed us to have form. I first read this in the Hathor material by Tom Kenyon, and the concept that the elements are these enormous beings just stuck in my head, and I kept thinking about it for a few decades now, actually. And that I increasingly believe that they really are beings with consciousness, and um, the elements make up everything in the universe, including our own bodies. And if you think of them as just agreeing to sort of give us the planet and give us our lives, it's very humbling, and one I something to you start on a path of feeling a little more gratitude, I think, for them. So, we're 72% water, give or take. Human beings are, and water is our blood. So we are water. We are one with water because we're 72% water. We're 12% earth, and earth is our bones. We're 4% fire, and fire is our digestion and our body temperature. We're 6% air, and air is our breath and our nervous system. And we're 6% ether. And ether is spirit. Long took me a while to understand ether. Sadhguru talks about ether as being space, and I believe that too, but he also talks about ether being eternal love. And I increasingly believe the energy I feel from ether is reminds me of what you hear about near-death experiences, where there's just this pulsing energy of love. And so there's a meditation I'd like us to do now, and it's a sound healing, which would help each of you connect to the elements. And I invite you to see how they feel when you look at them this way, when you look at them as energies that are inside of you that carry a consciousness. And when we send love and gratitude to each element, how it feels inside. And it's a step towards our beginning to be one with the elements, and that we are one. It's really special, I think. And so we're going to start the meditation now, and I invite everybody to take a really few deep breaths and close your eyes, get yourself comfortable. I'll use the I voice, so that you can better connect. It's an original channeled sound healing that is called the Dance of the Elements. A few more deep breaths. I send love and gratitude to the heart of the earth. And I ask Mother Earth to send her beautiful energy up to my Earth Star chakra. Again, I send love and gratitude to the heart of the earth and ask Mother Earth to send her beautiful energy up to our Earth Star chakra. And I send love and gratitude to the heart of the sun and ask Father Sun to send his beautiful energy down to our soul star chakra. This is bringing us into polarity, being here now anchored on the earth. I send love and gratitude to the heart of the sun and ask Father Sun to send his beautiful energy down to my soul star chakra. And now I ground myself here on this beautiful tree, this beautiful planet. I imagine myself a tree with deep, deep roots that go down into the earth. But they not only go deep into the earth, but they also drink up the nutrients. It's a really important piece. The roots deep into the earth, the roots drink up the nutrients. And the branches of our tree reach up to the sun. And the light, the leaves drink in the light of the sun. We drink down the light. And now we move into the honoring of the sacred elements. We send love and gratitude to the sacred element earth. I send love and gratitude to the sacred element water. I send love and gratitude to the sacred element fire. I send love and gratitude to the sacred element earth, my hair. Send love and gratitude to the sacred element ether. And so we've just connected to our polarity, we've grounded and then become one with this, each one of the sacred elements, and built a law into the law of reciprocity. With you send love and gratitude to the elements, then you receive a healing back. And I'd love to hear how people feel that are here. And thanks for coming, JJ and Linda and Jim and Amanda.
I'm just going to say, with the Schumann resonance, I know you've said before, asked to hear it. And I honestly had not done that yet. It was fascinating. I didn't hear anything. And so for those of you out there that you're like, I'm not clairaudient, I don't hear, I do a lot of times. But this time I felt the vibration throughout my body, like when you hum and you feel that vibration on your lips, almost like, it's a tickle. I felt that throughout my body instead of hearing. So just be open to experiencing things potentially in a different way.
It's so interesting you say that. Thank you so much for saying that, because actually that's how I hear the hum too, is the feeling of it. Like it just weaves through my system and makes me feel embodied, kind of,
Yeah, it was fascinating. Thank you.
Yeah, good. I'm so glad. That's great.
I'm Linda. I heard a tone, and I don't know whether it was the actual, but it was pleasant. That's all.
Well, that's nice. It's that's really nice. I recommend weaving it into your life when you can, or especially when you feel like you need it. If you've had a sort of a frazzling day, or you've been in the mall or something, and you just need some anchoring. I'm so glad that you're all picking up on the Schumann resonance, because it really feels good. So that's great.
I really like the analogy of the tree. That feels very soothing to me, to feel that sun coming up. And we live around a lot of trees, large trees, and so it helps me to visualize that reaching up and going deep in. It's a very helpful visualization for me. Thanks.
Oh, that's great. Well, it's also so wonderful. I'm looking out and I see all the sun on the leaves of the trees out there. So it's coming closer to sunset here. And it's wonderful to think of, all the light coming onto the leaves and coming down, and the nutrients coming up from the earth. I think helps us realize that we are in a give and take relationship with these, within this polarity, which feels really good. It's great. How about the sound healing? How did that feel?
I always love your sound healings.
Well, the elements, the sound healing for the elements can be very jarring to some people. I mean, and it can, you have a sense almost sometimes of it's almost like shaking up your central nervous system, I think. Maybe it's the drum. I don't know, but it also feels embodying, though. I mean, did it feel more embodied than you did before, having listened to the sound?
Yeah. I've felt a little off today, with my head or whatever. And I kept thinking, oh, I'm not grounded enough. I'm not grounded. So I kept trying to be grounded. Mm-hmm. And it was just funny that, when we did the tree analogy to what Jim was talking about, I was like, oh, I was deficient in the sun energy. It wasn't the Mother Earth energy, because I could feel it coming in. And I was like, so anyway, I should not just assume. I should really, kind of take the time to check in. But I just made an assumption, and no wonder I had a headache all day.
It's so interesting. And then also this will lead us into another one of the the third of this series of shows we're going to do. And that is that the earth is yin, it's the feminine energy, and the sun is yang, it's the masculine energy. And so for you to feel like you were drinking down the light of the sun, that yang energy, is something that was an important component of what you needed today,
Mhm.
which I think is a great
Sorry
understanding.
to jump ahead.
Yeah.
I could feel as if in the trunk of the tree, the swirling with the energy coming up and the energy coming down. It was kind of right in the trunk. There was sort of a pleasant swirling feeling.
Oh, so you
It's
started
nice.
that vortex, kind of that energy.
I suspect that's what it was. Yeah.
Yeah, super fun. That's really nice. That's great.
Well, I'll say for me, it just felt great. And especially the grounding, sending the roots deep into Mother Earth, that for me is, it's just so nurturing, so fulfilling that I just keep wanting to just stick with it. So I suspect I'm needing Mother Earth yin energy.
But isn't that beautiful? So each of you are finding a different aspect of the tree that has been that you needed, that's different than another, right? So you needed the roots to go deep down into the earth, deeper and deeper and deeper, the better, right, Linda? And JJ needed the sun, and what Jim got was sort of the vortex of the coalescing of both the yin and the yang was helping to move what is that center line energy field. So I think that's really great. That particular simple meditation, look how well it brought, that to how much healing it brought to each of you. That's really special. Good. Wonderful. Well, anybody have anything else that they'd like to, well, I guess what I'd like to just observe is that to me, one of the most valuable times in my meditating in this kind of a way is when I send love and gratitude to the elements, because I just became aware of it when sending love and gratitude to the heart of the earth. I just felt this powerful energy coming back up to me, right? And the same sending it up to the sun and feeling the energy coming down, and it was a real teaching in this law of reciprocity that you give love and you receive love back. And when I've meditated a lot with the elements. This is the actual signature of working with the elements: is you give love and you receive it back from them, and it's a really beautiful thing.
The other thing I like about it, I've done some work with Ayurvedic concepts which use the 5 elements, but I never got the sense of them being personalities, loving personalities. That's a very nice addition to when I'm thinking about them, to think of them as spirits and energy that way. It adds another quality altogether, I think.
Doesn't it? It's huge. And like you think of the Emoto work with water, and how you freeze the crystals and it can look like a mandala or something like that. You sort of see the consciousness of water at work, and then thinking of working with each of the elements in that way too. It's really actually pretty mind-blowing, and it's a really nice new way to look at it. But I think so many people talk about how much they feel if they've gone for a walk in the woods or they've been with nature, and I think this is why. It's just that they are imbued with the energy of the elements. So, well, that's a beautiful way to end our show, and thank you so much for coming, and we'll meet again. So
Thanks.
Thank you.
Thanks, Annie.
thank you.
Thank you, Annie.
Bye-bye.